Welcome in episode 32 of Ramie and Drew live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live on Facebook. I am Ramie Makloff. That is Drew Flaggy. And we are live, as I said, after a Bucks 114-105 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Drew, how do I find you this evening? I'm assuming good after a Bucks victory, huh?
I'm in a pretty good mood. I was bookmarking and taking a lot of receipts tonight.
Yeah, you were sending a few of those to me. What is it
Oh
not to
yeah.
get right into not to get right
No.
into that. I don't even want to spend a lot of time on it, but what does it take to be a top contributor in a Facebook group? I just need to know what I need to know the answer to that question.
I think you have to post a lot of things. I just
Oh,
you have
so
to
it's just volume. Okay, it's
yeah,
just
it's
volume.
about
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
It's like calling
Okay.
somebody. It's like calling somebody like that. That's the guy who's the best shooter on our team, but you never
Right.
look at the numbers. You're like, he's just shooting a lot of
He
threes.
just shoots a lot and he comes off real
Yes.
confident when he shoots. That that
Yeah. He
that's
looks.
that's a good analogy for a lot of people and their opinions on Facebook about the
Yeah.
Bucks and about other things. But we shouldn't spend a lot of time on those people, especially not to start the show. 114-105 Bucks win. And Drew, this was honestly a game that the 76ers controlled for the most part for 3 quarters. I never felt like the Bucks were out of it. And as a matter of fact, it was one of those things where, like, when Patrick Mahomes was trailing in the Super Bowl, but they were letting him hang around, I was like, Patrick Mahomes is too good, and the 49ers aren't good enough to let this guy hang around. And eventually it was going to come back to bite him. That's how I felt a lot of this game, that the Bucks are just too good. And the 76ers, especially without Joel Embiid, weren't good enough to let the Bucks just hang around, and it was going to come back and bite them, and it did. And that was a really strong fourth quarter for the Bucks there to pull this one out.
Yeah. They just out talented Philly at the end of the game. It wasn't even just Tobias Harris rolling his ankle. This was one of those games that had like the hallmarks of are they beating us or are they beating us as bad as it looks uh based on who's doing it? Because Cam Payne was the guy who was putting it on us. It wasn't like the guys that step up in Joel Embiid's absence. Like Kelly Oubre's had a couple really good games in a row now. And then tonight he just laid an egg. Like I think he finished with like 10 points or something. And yeah, like Cam Payne was the guy who was kind of cooking us and keeping them in it for a little while. Maybe a little bit of a revenge game for him, trying to put it on us. But uh Tobias Harris really kind of non-factor for the most part. It was just the Maxi show, and that was it. But if you're gonna have the Dame and Giannis show against the Maxi show, I'm gonna pick the Dame and Giannis every game. Like with
Yeah,
MD,
and those two had their game going, especially in the fourth quarter. But they're connecting more and more on the two-man game, on the alley oops, on the pick and rolls, and you're really seeing the work that Doc Rivers has been putting those guys through paying off.
yeah,
What
no,
was
like
it?
that was great.
32 for Giannis and how many? And 17 for Dame. And again, I keep harping on this, Drew. 16 shot attempts for Dame Lillard. Not enough. That's simply not enough.
No, I for tonight though, it just seemed like one of those games like with no Beasley, no Kris Middleton, he's missing still, can't find him.
Yes.
Um, I I get yeah, I don't know. Like I thought Giannis was honestly the one early on that was passing the ball too much and not being selfish. Like Dame was finding guys, but early on to hit shots, like Pat Beverly hit like our second or third shot.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't a Dame out of the gate. It wasn't a Giannis. Giannis only had 2 points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So it's like we were Philly was hanging around because our two guys that do everything kind of weren't doing
They were
anything.
kind of taking a back seat. And that was after the two games on the road that they lost and got off to slow starts. And Giannis said, he was like, we can't keep doing that. We can't keep coming out of the gate slow and without energy and looking, unmotivated to start games and then think we can just turn it up at the end. And they did tonight.
Yep.
But honestly, Drew, everything all right over there?
Yeah,
Earthquake in West
I bumped
Dallas? Everything all right?
Yeah, we had
Um,
earthquakes.
All right, good. Everything's fine now.
Yeah, I bumped
But
it.
honestly, Drew, if they have Joel Embiid, I don't think you do pull out that game. You know what I mean? You can't play around. You can't be the cat with the ball of yarn with the 76ers like they were for 3 quarters tonight if that's a team that has Joel Embiid.
No, but I think it changes the dynamic of that team. I think Joel Embiid slows them down a little bit more than Mo Bamba
True.
and Paul
Sure.
Reed do. They're going to play a lot slower in the half court, probably a lot slower in transition. Like, honestly, like I would like to see what Philly's defense looks like with Joel Embiid in there and how many more turnovers they create because of it. Because Nick Nurse's defense that he was playing was like what Adrian Griffin was trying to install early in the season with us. Like it was like they overplay a lot and they really try to jump passing lanes and get like deflections and cause turnovers. And what they had 17 points, I think, at one point in the game. Like they had 17 points off of turnovers, but the Bucks came back into it when they stopped turning the ball over. Um, a big thing with the Bucks too is like when you look at our turnover numbers, a lot of those happen in the first quarter. Like they're not playing tight out of the
Mm-hmm.
game. And then when it comes down to the fourth quarter, they don't turn the ball over anymore. Like if that's one issue that I think that, you know, if I would take with a guy like Kris Middleton when he's back, it's when he turns the ball over in the fourth quarter. But with Damian Lillard and Giannis, they just don't do it.
Yeah.
And everybody that was out there was playing smart with the ball in the fourth quarter, and that's how they were able to honestly win that game and get good shots. A lot of
And I
production
do
out of
have
AJ Green.
yeah, Derry Bird doing it again. I do have confidence in Dame and Giannis to do the right thing with the basketball in the fourth quarter and in high pressure situations. And that's why I feel pretty good about the playoffs. Again, it's a superstar league, and I don't know that many people, especially if Kris Middleton is real and he ever plays basketball again. If I don't know many teams that have more star power than the Bucks, so I don't really worry about what they'll do in fourth quarter and high pressure situations and whether or not they'll crumble. But going back to the Dame thing, you brought up that Giannis wasn't very aggressive tonight to start the game, and that's true. But and this is going to sound weird because Dame is who Dame is, and he's a Hall of Famer, and he has, a higher basketball IQ than most, I'm sure. But when Giannis is deferring, I I have confidence and faith that Giannis is doing the right thing with the basketball, and he's deferring because he's seeing something in their defense that he's trying to exploit or trying to set something up for later. Dame has just been so deferential at times since he's come to the Bucks that I don't have that same faith. When he's not taking those shots early in the game, I'm not going, well, I'm sure there's good reason for it. You know what I mean? I'm going, man, he just needs to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more selfish. When Giannis isn't being aggressive and as selfish as maybe it looks like he should be, I'm like, okay, something's coming. You know what I mean? Or he's doing it for a good reason. When Dame does it, I'm just going, he's still trying to fit in and be Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I didn't really look at it that way. I just kind of, took it. I did the thing that I'm not supposed to do where I took it. This game was like the culmination of everything. Like that was, I
Right.
put too much stock into what it was. Yeah, it was just an observation that I had earlier.
I guess that was a long-winded way for me to say I give Giannis the benefit of the doubt when he's not as aggressive as maybe I think he should be. Where I'm not giving that to Dame because this has been a trend and a pattern all year long.
Why you hate Dame, dude?
I love Dame.
Why have you been shit talking him this whole time?
I love Dame, and I want more Dame. Is the reason why I say what I say, Drew.
That is such an inside joke and terrible for a podcast. That just a small amount of criticism is just you hate him.
By the way, I saw in our group chat today, our Bucks group chat today, you brought up a good point. You brought up Kris Middleton a minute ago. We are getting to the point where, like, I think we are going to see Kris Middleton play basketball again this season. I was joking a second ago, but we are getting to the point where you do have to worry and wonder a little bit what type of game shape he'll be in by the time the playoffs come around and how many minutes he can play. And I don't know if he'll be coming off the bench. I think it was you suggested he might be coming off. No, was that somebody else? I don't know. It's a lot to keep up with. I don't know if he'll be coming off the bench, but you do have to wonder how many minutes he'll be able to play come playoff time.
That's the thing where, like, why I send you all these crazy things from the chats. There are always people that are saying, this is always the people that want to trade Kris Middleton. They think they should have traded Kris instead of Drew, and they don't understand that they couldn't even trade Kris. Like, there's this whole weird thing where it's like people just, they want to get rid of him because they hate him. I'm obviously not the guy. I don't have an issue with Kris Middleton. My only problem is if you go all the way back to the beginning of the season when Damian Lillard said he wasn't able to get ramped up, and when he was coming into training camp, he was slightly behind what he likes to be doing because he wasn't able to practice in Portland. So it's like, even if you're practicing, if you're going to the gym and like running, or you're at the facility, you're hitting the treadmill, or you're on the court playing 3-on-3 and you're doing things like that, low contact practice, there is a difference to like playing in the game and playing in practice.
Yep.
Guys aren't necessarily being as physical in a way that might hurt you or something. So you don't know when Kris Middleton starts actually having to go 100%, how long can he go? And I'm not a proponent of Kris Middleton coming off the bench. Kris Middleton is a bench player that makes $30 million a year in this league. I'm not there with Kris Middleton because he's incredibly efficient this season. This was like, I think they said his second best statistical season as far as efficiency and effective field goals go. So it's like, I don't want him off the bench. I think he makes everybody better. And yeah, he'll be playing with Dame and Giannis on the floor if he's coming off the bench or not. And I'm sure he's closing out games. My thing is just the conditioning part of it now. Like, he's missed almost 20 games.
Yeah.
Like in the stretch, was it 17?
Yeah, that's all I'm talking about is the conditioning and the game shape. Yeah.
The Kevin Durant stepping under him and making him roll his ankle has caused him to miss almost a quarter of the season, on top of him missing other games with just, not playing on back-to-backs because of the knee surgery and like all that stuff. So I am a little bit worried about where Kris Middleton's going to be at conditioning wise. And because, I think they're the best version of, I don't even have to say I think it, with the numbers, with Kris, Dame, Giannis, Malik Beasley, and Brook on the floor at the same time, they are the best offensive team in the league, and it's not even close. And that's by statistics. That's not that's straight up. They are they have the best net rating of any 5-starter groups. The problem is they haven't played that many games together because of really Middleton's injuries.
Yep. And that's why I said, Drew, when you do have those guys healthy, 110 as far as the defense goes is kind of the magic number for me. If you hold a team under 110, and you should win like 9 out of every 10 games if you have your full arsenal of offensive firepower and can put together like a B or a B plus type of game on offense. If you can hold them under 110 points on defense, you should be able to win. And they hold Philadelphia to 105 tonight. And I know that's a Sixers team with Joel Embiid, but they're facing the same thing with their number one guy and their MVP candidate in Joel Embiid that we just talked about with Kris Middleton. And Steve Novak and Lisa Byington talked about it on Bally Sports tonight on the call for the game, that you got to wonder what type of game shape Joel Embiid is going to be in come playoff time. And if he's not 100%, then the 76ers aren't really a threat to the Bucks or anybody else in the Eastern Conference. I don't know how much of a threat they were to begin with. I've thought it was the Bucks and the Celtics the whole time, but Joel Embiid, a healthy Joel Embiid, certainly puts you in the conversation. I don't know what version of Joel Embiid the 76ers are going to get come playoff time.
Yeah. I think the 76ers are able to grind out like a series win against like the Knicks or something like that.
Sure.
I do think that top 3 teams in the East, Celtics, Bucks, and Cleveland, give them serious problems. And that's in Cleveland for the exact same reason that I think Cleveland, I've said that depending on how seeding works out, I want that 2 seed because I think Cleveland can honestly beat Boston in a 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I'm a big Jared Allen guy. I really like Jared Allen. I think that between him, Okoro, and Mobley, they can absolutely slow down everybody in the Eastern Conference. They're just that physical and they're that strong down there. I don't like when Giannis has to play against them because I'm afraid Giannis is going to get hurt with how physical that team is. But like, I think we have better finesse players than they do. So I think that we can outshoot Cleveland like from the perimeter. I know they put one on us pretty bad one time this year when we lost by like 40, but that happens. That's only once.
It just happened the other night against Sacramento.
It's not like we also lost by 30 points to a smaller team like Golden State. That didn't happen. It's fine. And
Sacramento too, Drew. I was just going to say that it seems like the Bucks aren't they don't lack physicality, and they don't back away or shy from physical. I mean, they got Giannis and Brook Lopez. Those are two of the bigger, more physical guys in this league. And then you got Pat Bev. You got guys on this. Pat Connaughton doesn't shy away from physical contact. You got guys on this team that don't shy away from physical contact. But it seems like if the other team throws the first punch, like we saw Sacramento do the other night, like the couple of games that you just referenced, then that takes the physicality out of the Bucks. I think that's a lot of their first quarter problems is when other teams they take the physical game into their own hands to start with. The Bucks don't really respond so well to that. And honestly, tonight, from that standpoint, is kind of encouraging when you look at the 76ers coming out and throwing the first punch. And yeah, again, I'll put the disclaimer on it. No Embiid, but they did come back and pull that one out.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and act like Philly's not a good team. Like, you know, I can sit here and I can joke all I want to about the Celtics and stuff like that too. These aren't bad teams. Like, even without their star players, they're not awful. Like, they've got guys with playoff experience. You know, they're incredibly well coached. I think Nick Nurse is a pretty good coach. He's not like Spoelstra levels or anything like that, but I don't know, he's good enough, and you know he adds a little bit to that team, and they're all bought in clearly. Like, they're all playing really hard, and that Philly team does hustle. So the Bucks just got to not be lazy and just don't make brain dead plays and don't turn the ball over if you don't have to. That's what I've noticed a lot. It's first quarter turnovers with the Bucks recently, and that's what shoots them in the foot against every team. It's just making little dump off passes and guys' chests that aren't looking for the ball under the basket in the dunker spot. And then it's just, you got two dudes collapse on them and then they come away with the ball because it's just more hands. And it's just playing smarter. That's really what it comes down to a lot of the time with the Bucks. And that goes back to 2021 when Chuck said that we play stupid sometimes. And there's a lot of times, we do dumb things.
Yep.
Like that Lakers game, where, 5 seconds left in the third quarter and Giannis pointed at where I want that ball to go. Bobby rolled it and Giannis stood there and Austin Reeves came flying in and took it from him. That's just a dumb play. It's just not being aware of where you're at. And that team's too talented to be stupid sometimes.
And I won't have other people saying this about Giannis. I won't have people outside the Bucks fan base saying this about Giannis. But sometimes he does just put his head down and run into traffic and do reckless things with the basketball, man. Like he does do that. And that is kind of a microcosm of this basketball team in a lot of ways in certain situations. Like they just go out there and, sort of run into action without necessarily putting a whole lot of thought into it. Not that they're not a dumb team, but they can act like a dumb team for a while. And I know that's a cop out. That's like saying in an argument, you're not an idiot. I'm just saying you're acting like an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
you're doing adjacent things.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the Bucks can act stupid sometimes, and Giannis can get a little careless with the basketball in certain situations.
That's like, it's just, there are times where instead of just like doing the dishes, they smash all the plates on the floor and they're like, well, no, I got to clean up. It's like, yeah, because you made the mess. What are you doing? Well, who's going to clean this up? Well, I don't know, man. Probably you. Like, they just do that a lot. And I'm like, why are you guys doing this?
I didn't see if Cleveland was. Did Cleveland play tonight? The Bucks. They moved. They stay in the 2 seed. They were already in the 2 seed. They stay in the 2 seed. They are a half a game up on Cleveland with that win. Both teams and 24 in the loss column right now, which is what I always look at. I do want to hold off Cleveland, because like you said, Drew, there are teams out there, and I'm not scared of Boston. Know what I mean? But I do want the easiest path. And if you can have home court advantage throughout, if somebody can do your dirty work for you, maybe a Miami or maybe as you said, a New York or Cleveland can take care of Boston in an earlier round, and you don't have to, or at least you don't have to face them until the Eastern Conference Finals. That would be ideal. I'd like to see the Bucks hold on to that 2 seed.
Yeah, I want to play the long game on them. I'd rather, first of all, for the dramatic effect first,
for sure. Yes.
Play Drew Holiday against his former team. Jason Tatum, he's 26, hasn't won a championship yet. Giannis won when he was 26. Jokic won when he was 26. So Jason Tatum, if he's going to keep texting Kobe's phone, he's got to fucking do You don't get to be 27 and start firing off goddamn text messages like that. You don't get to go, I got you today, dog. Fuck,
is Kobe's phone still on, or is it a green bubble now when he texts Kobe on game day?
It's got to be a green bubble. Who knows? It's got to be in the Hall of Fame somewhere. They got to put it in a glass case and charger.
It's sitting on one of those, the chargers you don't have to plug in, the one you just set your phone on. They have it on one of those in a case.
No,
yeah, you know what?
It's got a Lakers case. It's just things, and like the people in the Neesmith Museum are just like, fuck, the Celtics are playing. They're just, who are they playing? Oh, it's Detroit. Oh, yeah. Jason Scott. Oh, nice.
That would be hilarious, actually. If Kobe's phone was in the Basketball Hall of Fame and it just dings every day with a text message from Jason Tatum saying, I got you, dog.
It's just like I had my phone down for most of the game. Like I was just sitting here enjoying my nice night in my jammy pants, my Bucks jammy pants with my jersey on.
Oh, you're in your jammies. Oh,
I got Bucks flannel jammies, and I was just sitting here on my couch, just having a nice evening, and then of course we're down by
a cup of tea.
No, I was drinking water. Now I got my Sprite for the podcast.
Thought maybe you had like some chamomile going or something.
I gotta buy a new coffee maker. I would drink coffee, honestly, but that doesn't matter. But it's like I got my phone face down. I'm watching the game. I'm just like, what are things that we're gonna talk about tonight? And we're down by like 7 in the third quarter. At the beginning of the third quarter, and then it's just my phone. Boop, boop, and I'm like, oh fuck, really? We're starting in the third quarter, and of course, you know who the fuck it is. It's just the fucking team, it's the worst fucking team ever. It's like, my God, like.
Are you talking about a mutual friend of ours in the group chat, or is this just randos in these weird Buck spaces that you're on the internet?
No, those people don't text me, which is I'm actually happy about, because. Also, here, before I start shit talking other people, I did say in my Facebook post I owe an apology tonight.
To whom?
To Cone Roller.
Why?
Because I said that I was going to throw my temper tantrum on yesterday's show, and then I got home from work and took a nap, and then we didn't record an episode.
Yeah, we didn't do a show yesterday.
So I said, I replied to him on Twitter, and I said that I was going to have my hot takes yesterday on the game, and then I just feel like I broke a promise to somebody who actually listened. So I'm sorry, Cone Roller.
Our apologies, sir.
I'm sorry. You're like one of like 20 people who consistently listens. Thank you. And I'm sorry, and I appreciate you. And I felt dirty for lying, but I needed a nap after work. I need a nappy.
It's like 50. It's like 50 who can on a consistent basis, but whatever. We appreciate every one of you.
And and that's why I said I'm apologizing specifically to the person I lied to, because I don't want to be a liar.
And by the way, let's get it up above 50. I see how many of y'all are watching right now, and that's cool. That's a good number, and we appreciate it. But you see down there at the bottom where it says follow Ramie and Drew on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Like, if all of you who are watching, because I see how many of you are watching up in the corner there, if every single one of you followed us right now on one of those platforms, our numbers would go up exponentially, and we'd greatly appreciate it. So follow, like, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, do all those things. I should address this, Drew, because my phone is blowing up, and we even have comments on the YouTube page. And you can jump in on the show, by the way, by commenting on the YouTube page, or I put the StreamYard link up on Twitter. It says, you see Jay Glazer's tweet, Ramie. He follows that up with Keenan Allen. Well, he said Kenan Allen. Kenan Allen to the Bears for a fourth round pick, and that is indeed confirmed. Keenan Allen to the Bears for a fourth round pick, and I do like that, Drew. I've been throwing temper tantrums about the Bears doing nothing so far this offseason since free agency started, except signing a bunch of guys who basically provide depth to a team that finished in last place last year. Like, you need to add to the top of the depth chart, not the bottom. Keenan Allen, he adds to the top of the depth chart. 100+ receptions last year. He's up there in years a little bit, but I'll take Keenan Allen as your number 2 receiver to DJ Moore. I'm happy about that. I'll take that.
Yeah, I love the athleticism you guys added by picking up Simone Biles. That was good. You really got a lot of
we also added Simone Biles to the roster. That's a good pickup. That's a huge pickup.
That was a big loss. That was a big loss for us.
She's quick, and she can run those underneath routes. I think she can be very effective.
She shows up every Sunday, unlike Justin Fields. So that's good.
Does that strike anything that resembles fear in you, Drew? DJ Moore and Keenan Allen running routes out there against the Packers twice a year?
No, I said I said it in the group chat today. I said Packers and 6 always. It's for the culture. So
yeah, you really get football. You really get football when you say Packers and 6.
Yeah. Well, it was like the last weeks of the season this year, and we did it.
There was one thing you texted me today that you wanted to talk about, which was before we get out of here. It was the dunk the other night by Andre Jackson Jr. And the reaction of the Kings players watching it from their bench.
So funny.
Even they couldn't help but marvel at what they were watching. And dude, Andre Jackson Jr., these are the guys, because I see guys doing stuff like this. Why aren't they, like, not the most high profile names, but holy shit, they can jump out of the gym. Why aren't these guys in the slam dunk contest, man? His whole neck and head was above the rim. That was insane.
That was crazy to see that. I mean, Andre Jackson, it's not like he doesn't have like all those crazy come flying in from the free throw line putbacks and stuff. He's got a great nose for the ball. Yeah, why not? I mean, why not put guys like that in the dunk contest? They already got Mac McClung doing it, and he plays in the G League. Like, at least Andre,
you would think,
part of our roster.
You would think NBA guys. You would think they would go for some NBA guys.
Yeah, I mean, like, Andre Jackson's not doing this in every single game. Like, I guess Mac McClung is doing it in the G League, like, because Andre Jackson's not really an offensive player, so he doesn't really have the rapport of being like a high flying dunker or anything like that. Because I mean, he's basically supposed to be like a Draymond Green type player, like a forward that can pass out of the post and play a little bit of like point forward and everything.
But I don't know. Jump out of the gym, awesome. Man. That was insane.
The point of that whole thing for all the listeners was that Andre Jackson had the dunk, and we all saw it. We all thought it was awesome. Like, it was really goddamn cool in a game that was also just miserable to watch from basically the third quarter on.
Yeah, it was
really tough to watch us get beat down like that, especially after we said a lot of nice things about the Kings on the podcast, and then they went and did that to us. That was kind of fucked up. They owe me and Cone Roller an apology. Goddamn Kings. But no, it's like that. Like, I saw people posting like, why isn't Doc Rivers giving the young guys any run? It's like, well, because we are clinging to the 2 seed right now. And right now, this is not the time that the Bucks can experiment late in the season with, we're throwing the young guys out there in crucial games. We have the hardest schedule. You're going to lean on your vets. Player development time, like, you know when it was a time to be player development time? When the year after we traded for John Salmons. That was player development time. When we still had green and jerseys, that's player development. Every year that we have to sit here and complain that Giannis isn't getting enough smoke for the MVP, that is not a time to start developing players. You didn't go get Damian Lillard, so all of a sudden Marjon Beauchamp can play for 24 fucking minutes in a meaningful game. You didn't do that. Like, you didn't trade last season for Jay Crowder.
And by the way, all these guys have had their chance to like seize the opportunity and take all these guys who you just named, Beauchamp, Andre Jackson Jr., they've all had their chance to like grab a role on this team. Not 20 minutes, you know what I mean? Because you're right. They're not taking like Dame's spot or Brooke Lopez's spot or Giannis, any of these guys, but they have had the chance to sort of claim a spot and claim a role and claim some significant minutes on this team, and they just didn't seize it. They didn't take the opportunity.
No, and AJ Green has. AJ Green
Yes.
played all but 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, and then they brought Pat Bev in for more defense at the end of the game. But like AJ Green was again making shots. And when a lot of our problems have come recently since we got Doc Rivers, it hasn't been defensively, it's been offensively. So we don't need guys who are kind of going to make our defense a little bit worse. Unfortunately, Andre Jackson commits a lot of fouls. He commits a lot of reaching fouls. Marjon Beauchamp brings nothing at this point. Offensively, he can't create shots off the dribble like he was supposed to be able to do. Supposed to be a Kris Middleton kind of replacement player. I don't even know if he's ever going to be able to be that. But we don't have time to figure that out. Maybe he is that kind of player, and he'll be playing for another team in a year or two, probably. That's the unfortunate thing about that, where it's like when you have this championship window for a couple years, you can't sit here and start giving rookies and second-year players a chance if they're not going to come in and impact the game. AJ Green came in and he played fantastic defense against Tyrese Maxey, and I would hesitate to say, and Maxey was hot for most of the night, I would hesitate to say Andre Jackson puts the clamps on Tyrese Maxey. Maxey tried to put AJ Green on skates a couple times in this game, and AJ just stood his ground, and he didn't shift too far out of the way. He didn't lose his footing. He didn't like recover and reach in or anything like that. He played, I would say, almost like a veteran style of defense. He made it hard on Tyrese Maxey, who is an extremely fast, really talented guard. And it's like, I don't think that the other guys do that.
This is a comment from one of my best friends, known him since we were in middle school. He said, "It's Tamara again." He says, "Is this live? Like you guys are talking right now?" Yeah, dude. It says live. It says live, like right there, right across the bottom there. If you're watching on YouTube, it says like he doesn't understand. You've met my friend Tamara. He doesn't understand how the internet works, apparently, and what that word live across the bottom there means.
He's like David after dentist. He's like, is this real life?
Yeah, this was live. This was live on if you're not watching or listening live, this was live on March 14th at about 9:30 p.m. till about 10:05 p.m. At which time I was about ready to wrap it up. I don't know if you have any final words, Drew. You got any final words?
Yeah, one of the other screenshots I sent you. Oh, for all the people, there were 2 screenshots I sent Ramie that I just loved.
What was the other one? Oh, the comments.
Trading Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard was an absolute mistake. And Dame hits a fucking dagger step back. Yes, like, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this was the Holiday trade was a big mistake. I'm telling you, from a top contributor, and that was followed up with Brooke Lopez, all caps, stinks. I'm ready for a new center. Him and those 35-foot 3-pointers / quote turnovers gotta go. Where did he?
Brooke Lopez finished with 19 points and like 3 blocks. It's just like,
so you're telling, but
here's the thing.
Those guys both top contributors to this group that you're in. Top contributors. I ask once again. So it's just a volume thing. It's just a numbers game to be top contributor.
Yeah, I think to be like labeled as like a group expert or something, like you have to get like a lot of people, like positive engagement or something like that. I have like a top contributor badge. I just don't fucking slap on there. I'm done posting things in there. I just lurk now because I'm like, this is like we've gotten to a point as a fan base where it's like it seems like everybody forgot where this all started and like how like the Jabari Parker, like they forget Jabari Parker was supposed to be the franchise. And Giannis was like his Robin. Like they were like it was supposed to be maybe Giannis, And then, wow, look at how that changed. But it's like we
fact.
forget.
Fun fact: I was the first person in the Milwaukee media to interview Jabari Parker. How about that, huh?
I still have a Jabari Parker T-shirt.
I like Jabari. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I liked him. It's just it didn't work out, and then I think he felt a little butthurt that that Giannis just kind of took off, and we're like, well, I guess we're gonna start marketing this guy now.
I'm looking for something right now that I also wanted to bring up with you. But dang it, I can't find it.
But yeah, those are like it's crazy to me. And then and then we get the newer fans like the like when my phone vibrated again today. It's just the people that didn't watch where this all started. They didn't watch the green and red days. Like they didn't watch the Save Our Bucks days. They didn't watch any like all like the miserable shit like that year that we won like 15 games and stuff. When like it's just like they didn't watch any of this. Like they have there's no. I don't want to be like the count your blessings guy. But I'm having so much fun, even when they're frustrating this season, seeing Damian Lillard and Giannis play basketball together.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. It's really fun. And it's like, there's going to be a day that this is going to end, and basketball's not going to be fun in Milwaukee, probably.
Yeah, for sure. And I can't sit here and act like I'm a lifelong Bucks fan, but I've been around and I'm a big Bucks fan now. You can I have the Mecca hanging on my wall. I got all sorts of Bucks stuff around here. I got a Bucks mug that I drink coffee out of every day. But bottom line is, I've been around Milwaukee long. I was working on the Bucks post game show with Sparky, answering your phone calls during some of those dark days that Drew is talking about right now. And I always felt for Bucks fans, man, because they were always such a passionate and knowledgeable fan base. And I felt like they deserved it, and they went through it. 50 years of not winning a championship. And you're right, Drew, not only did you get that championship, but now you got a team and a duo that not many fan bases sort of get the privilege to watch night in and night out, and they give you a chance to win a championship that not a lot of fan bases get, not just in a given season, but in a lifetime. And not just one championship, but a run of championships, or at least contending for championships and relevance, and like you said, and entertaining basketball. And that's not something to take for granted, even if you don't get the end result that you're looking for every night.
No, and it's like, I don't, we've talked about like being a good fan and what makes a good fan. Do you own the most stuff? Do you have the most jerseys, the most signed memorabilia? Do you have just your one beat up hat that you wear every day or something? That doesn't matter. Like, you can be a stats sicko. It's like anybody can be a fan in their own way. But what I don't like, and what honestly pisses me off as a Bucks fan since 97, when I was 7 years old, that's honestly what, like, where I'll start clocking that I understood what the fuck basketball was, instead of just a place that I went and got nachos with my dad. Like, when I actually understood somewhat what the game was. And it's all of these people. It's like, you didn't sit through the awfulness, but you came into this fan base after Giannis had already won 2 MVPs, and then he won a championship. So they expect you to win every fucking game against every team. The amount of people last night that were like, really? You lost to the Kings? I'm like, that's not the fucking 2005 Kings anymore. Yeah. Like, they're a team too. It's like, you don't remember like, you don't remember like what some of these teams are that we're losing to. Like, we lost to Golden State. Well, they still have Steph Curry. He's absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer. Draymond Green will probably be in the Hall of Fame. Like, they've got guys on that squad that can still put up numbers on a given night. And a lot of out West are fighting for seeding. And it's like, so we're going to get their best. And if we're playing dumb or taking a couple plays off, lazy plays, you're not going to beat these teams. And it's like, you have to realize that they can learn from their mistakes. Doc has said it in post games. Dame has said it about learning from their mistakes. Bev talks about it on his podcast constantly about learning and taking losing in stride. They're not happy to lose, but they also are taking it as, okay, we lost. What did we lose? We got film day tomorrow now. We got to go watch us lose and figure out, what did we do wrong? Where did we take plays off? Where were we not focused like we should be? What weren't we looking for? And that's all part of this. That's how you go and win a championship. You don't win 82 games in a season. Nobody's done it. And it's like bitching and moaning and just being miserable throughout the course of a game. And
dude, it's even after wins that I hear the bitching and moaning. You know what I mean? That's when it really gets under my skin. I've been staying hydrated today, and so I gotta pee, Drew. So we got to wrap this up pretty soon here. But the thing I wanted to ask you about, did you see Jeff Passan's report about the Brewers? No, I'm surprised you didn't see
was
this.
it Devin Williams about
Yeah,
Devin
Williams has 2 stress fractures in his back and is expected to miss around 3 months, sources tell ESPN. Williams pitched through back soreness in September, but it returned earlier this spring. He'll rehab and should return by midseason. Second tweet, Devin Williams visited back specialist Robert Watkins today, and he diagnosed pars fractures. I don't know what that means. On both sides of Williams' T12 vertebrae, Williams will be shut down for 6 weeks, rehab for another 6, and Watkins expressed confidence that Williams would make a full recovery. This sounds like something I'm interpreting. Okay, so maybe I'm misinterpreting. There's a little reading between the lines going on here. It sounds like this is something that the Brewers just flat out missed. Like, this guy was pitching through fractures in his back in September, and not only did they have him pitch through it then, they let him go a whole off season and a spring training before getting this thing diagnosed correctly and getting him, on the course to getting it corrected and recovering. If that's the case, it's a major fumble by the Brewers and the medical staff there. Major fumble.
Yeah. I just I coped immediately, to use an internet term. I started smoking massive amounts of copium, and I just said, well, they're going to have many leads to have to protect anyways. So it's, get well soon, Devin. My actual first thing was like, wait, did he like punch a wall now with his back? Like, what? What's he doing?
His friend power bombed him through a wall. Antics at a party. My friend Tamer chimes in. He says, "What are Drew's thoughts on the Marvels? Goat Marvel movie, or what?"
Dude, Tamer, Ramie has to pee. We don't have time for this. We can do this on we'll honestly, seriously, like we can do this another time. Like, because Ramie's got to. I love to let him know how much I think that movie was just a clown show. Why was there a musical number for like 8 minutes in that goddamn movie? And okay, Tamer, now you got me. Just go.
I don't think he really wanted an answer. I think he was just trolling you. You can discuss this at a cookout in my backyard this spring.
I don't pick up social cues, so now I'm triggered, and now I got to talk it all out. Otherwise, I can't go to bed. I'm going to call it people, and like.
And no, I'm not even gonna entertain the. There was another comment. I already mentioned it. I guess I do got to entertain it. Sean King says, "Stop believing everything CNN tells you, Ramie, liberal clown." That's going back to a tweet I tweeted out earlier in the day that you can check out at Ramie is tweeting is where you can find me. And that is at Drew F is on fire. I'm Ramie Makhlouf. That's Drew Flaggy. This is Ramie and Drew. We do it Monday through Friday most of the time. But we will be back tomorrow with another episode of Ramie and Drew. Bucks win tonight. That's a good one. That's a big win. And we will take it.
That's base as fuck if you tweet that, Ramie.
It's about the Aaron Rodgers thing. That he told somebody he didn't believe the whole Sandy Hook thing. He thinks there's some kind of conspiracy. And I just said,
Listen, all I'm saying is Aaron Rodgers, he sees things that we don't. That's why he's a Hall of Famer.
That's true. That is true. That's true. I'm Ramie. This is Ramie and Drew. We will talk to you next time. Thanks for watching, listening. Oh, follow, like, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Let's grow this thing. Thank you. We appreciate you.